What's up, YouTube land? It's Tuesday night, it's 5, and we're live. Stone Coat Countertops is going to do something fun with the burl, woodworking, casting epoxy, and your biggest dreams are gonna come true. Stay tuned and enjoy the video.
Our epoxy rocks, Stone Coat Countertops.
Remember, when you subscribe to our channel, click on the red subscribe button and be sure to ring the bell so you get notified every time we have a new video. Thanks again.
That's great.
What's up, guys? Catherine, how are you?
I'm awesome. How you doing?
This is Catherine. This is Brandon. What's up, my man? Brandon is a local resident here, engineer, entrepreneur, overall magnificent human being, brother.
Such kind words.
Welcome, man. Welcome.
Thank you so much.
You and I met not too long ago. We really have done some fun projects already together.
Yep.
And your wife's not watching, right?
Negative, Ghost Rider.
We got
big surprise.
We got a Christmas present you're making for the wife.
That's right.
What species wood are we dealing with, and have we been playing with all day today?
So we've been working with a box elder burl.
Okay, box elder burl, and you're friends with Greg, the burl hunter.
Yeah.
Did you get this from his shop?
Yeah. So
Okay.
he looked for quite a while to find the right one, because this slab is for the table, and then he also put some slabs in there so that all the bar stools are going to match.
Oh, that's going to be amazing.
So the butt print is going to be from the exact same burl.
That's going to be so
So we've been working today. We got the edges sealed. We got the slab leveled. We cut it in half. We got the form made. You haven't seen any of this happen.
Not yet.
Yeah, welcome to the jungle. It's going to be amazing.
And we had some fun.
Yeah, we did, right? We had a lot of fun. Guys, we're going to show you the whole extent of everything that we did up to this point, but we thought there'd be some value in going live. It was Tuesday night. You wanted to stay and play. Mitch, you're excited about this burl?
I am excited to watch you guys play with it all day. It is going to be pretty. I can't wait to see what color you chose for that river.
Yeah, I can't wait to show it. This is going to be beautiful. Okay, so what we're going to do first is we're going to prep this form. We're going to try something new that we normally haven't done. Typically, we're going to use Tyvek tape on the whole base. So we actually had been talking on our insiders group, and somebody on the insiders group came up with the brilliant idea: use furniture paste wax. We think it's going to be a really good release on the mold. I trusted the insiders group before, and they said it pops right off melamine. They were lying. It does not pop off melamine. I took a chunk that big with my table, and it wasn't fun. So round 2,
Yeah.
paste wax. And if
All
it
right,
screws up,
insiders.
it's not my table.
That's right.
No.
Actually, we have a tool for that, so don't worry about
Yes,
that.
it'll be fine either way. But we went and picked this up. It smells. Did you smell it? It smells good. So we got this at Home Depot. We'll show you everything that we did step by step, how we created this in a video coming up. But you're joining us live tonight. Let us know in the comments below where you're joining us from. Are you excited to see woodworking with epoxy? And while you're answering that, Mitch, do you want to talk about today's You Got This award winner?
Yes. I would love to talk about today's You Got This a winner. It's Ricky Lee Valdez. If you're a member of the Stone Coat Countertops Insiders on Facebook, I'm sure you've seen this guy's awesome project. He's made guitars and tons of longboards, multiple different colors. And the other day, I was pleased to watch Ricky Lee himself skateboarding down in Idaho on one of his custom-made longboards. Keep up the good work, Ricky Lee. We've been watching you for a long time, man. Your projects are absolutely outstanding.
That looks awesome.
You got this, Ricky. Good job, man.
Ricky Lee got this, man.
Yeah.
So we told Brandon, yeah, the guy makes longboards. Brandon looked at me sideways like, all right, now are you a believer?
I was a believer then, but those are awesome.
That's awesome
It's
work.
great work.
Ricky, you definitely got this, and you may need to use those as a snowboard really soon because you are in Idaho, right? What we're gonna do is apply this paste wax. We got some cheesecloth. Do you remember cheesecloth from our painting days?
Oh, I do.
So cheesecloth, we're just gonna grab some paste wax, really kind of saturate that, and since I've never done this before, I'm just gonna rub-a-dub-dub.
Karate
Let's
Kid.
do it.
All right.
Put the wax on.
Yep.
This is like when we were making cakes,
You know, totally, right?
right? We used to make wedding cakes, too.
Another thing that we did is we traced where the live edge of that slab is, okay? Well, you made wedding cakes. I just helped you
helped
with the
me.
construction portion of
Right,
it. You wouldn't believe how much construction goes into building, like all the dowels and stuff.
Everything. Mike was a great helper. I needed muscle for that job, and he did a great job helping me out.
I got really good at fondant, you know.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did.
All right,
Close
so
to the silicone edgy.
yeah, that's a good point. So I'm going right to it.
Okay.
It's really pretty dry.
Take her easy.
So I would do it. We silicone the whole perimeter of this just for insurance, so we don't have any leaks. We're going to be using a good amount of casting epoxy on this project, so we don't want to have any leaks and any moments, right?
Right.
And we got tie-back tape on the edges, so even if we overlapped a little of that wax, that wouldn't hurt. But I think you're an engineer. You've been a dean of university, super educated. Tell me, will this work?
Yeah.
All right, then I believe it.
Because we're forgetting about the secret ingredient.
What's that?
The power of hope.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, you know what they say
If
about
your
hope.
heart is pure and your intentions are good, wondrous things can happen.
And
Yes,
I tell you all day
sir.
long, you got this. So Brandon, you got this. Let's get
We
taken
got
care of.
this.
I know, right?
I like
Hey-
it. I
hey,
think
Mike.
This is gonna work.
Let the folks know one more time what product you're using there.
This is Citrus Shield Premium Paste Wax.
It smells amazing.
Citrus Shield Premium Paste Wax. Pick it up at your local hardware store. We aren't getting paid to say that.
No.
We were actually looking for a
paid-
different brand.
We paid to go get it.
Yeah, we did. We did. I had a guy at Home Depot the other day. He's like, why are you guys recording yourselves in our store? And I said, you should go check it out because we're bringing you a lot of business, man. So everybody who supports Home Depot from Stone
You
Coat
think that's
Countertops,
enough?
tell them we sent them. It's gotta
Yeah.
be. It's gotta
Copy
be.
that.
All
What
right.
about all the edges? Do you
No,
get
that's
that?
tie-back tape. We're
We're
good.
good? All right,
I
we're
think
good.
we're
Oh,
good.
wait. We didn't hear the sides.
Doesn't need it's tie-back. man.
Copy that.
Tie-back.
All right.
All right, what we're gonna do is we're gonna grab the piece, but we don't wanna grab the piece with wax on our hands because anything that we get on this with wax is gonna repel. So that's something to keep in mind when you use a release. Some people will use a silicone spray, anything like that. If you do that, don't contaminate your work area. So I think this is rather safe because we applied it by hand. So you got kind of one chance to put this in. Another thing that I've done is I've used quick coat to kind of seal my piece down, but that's obviously not going to work. So we've got some bar clamps, some bars and some clamps to hold everything down. So you want to put that in first?
All right, my friend.
Do you see which way it goes? Oh yeah, it goes like just back. Wait. Yeah, I think that's right.
Yeah, that's it. You got it.
Nice. 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 Okay.
All I heard in my head when you were putting that down was prior planning prevents poor performance.
Tell me how good that
right?
fits,
You guys
right?
planned that out so good.
All right.
That was so
Right.
kind of you.
Right.
By you guys. Did you
You-
mean Mike?
No, didn't you
Because we
help
should
him?
really be honest.
Brandon,
That
you
was
were so awesome.
Totally Mike's idea.
You were the mastermind behind this whole project.
All right, and what I think we do now is put the bars in so that it holds it tight. So what we did is we flattened the bottom surface with our router jig. We made everything flat so that we have we started from zero. Like you use a CNC router, that's taking your access to zero, right?
Yeah.
We got everything flat. The top doesn't need to be perfect because after we pour this coat, we'll overfill and then we'll come back and sand it flush. And so because of that, why would we spend a bunch of time getting this perfect when we're gonna sand it anyways?
Ain't no reason, brother man.
Ain't no reason. All right, so we'll pick kind of, yeah, I think that's good so that we get good placement of these. Now, the reason I'm doing a bar underneath as well as on top is because I've clamped it before just like this and you'll curl your project. So our hope is that the bars underneath the slab as well as on top will create a nice solid sandwich.
Yeah.
A solid sandwich.
Solid sandwich.
Are you hungry? Would you like to eat a solid sandwich?
Always.
I want an ice cream sandwich.
I'm going to go out front and then we'll work together so that we get this dialed.
Stone Coat Countertops is hungry.
So 101 Feeds asks, what is the shelf life? So if you keep the lids on the epoxy out of direct sunlight, and you keep it from freezing, you have a good 12 months on the shelf after you've even opened the epoxy. Just keep the lids on nice and tight.
And I would go right to the melamine.
Are you ready?
Yep.
So we have to do these at exactly the same time.
Go.
So get a buddy. Pro tip. We good?
Yeah, I'm good. I like this method a lot.
All right.
I like this.
You got enough over there?
Oh yeah, how about you? You need more?
No, I'm good.
You guys measured really well for this project.
So kind of you.
Good.
So I'm gonna put my block a little closer to our river. If you're gonna cheat anywhere, you want to cheat a little closer to the river, I'm thinking, just to put the downward pressure there, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go for it.
Go.
I really like the variations of width on this river. It's going to be awesome.
Because it's gonna hold at the edge of our block, right? Maybe I should turn. Should we turn that block so that the fulcrum is right here? I think I'm going to. Oh, sorry. Yep, and then put that closer. There you go. I like that right there.
Okay.
Okay, you ready, Brandon?
Yeah, we'll probably get a little more flex out of it. Oh,
Oh, sorry.
you good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Go.
3, 2, 1.
And I think that flex here is okay because it's
This is actually
putting all your pressure down here, right?
Yeah, these blocks aren't
So
moving.
our river's going to be tighter. Let's change these up too.
3, 2, 1.
Right there. A little back up lip right there. I like that.
All right.
Now we're still going to get a little seepage underneath, but the amount of casting epoxy, we're not going. Oh, I'm not on my bar. Got it.
We ready?
Ready.
Go.
Go.
Bingo.
All right.
Yeah, that's
That's the
way
ticket.
better.
Yeah, that's tension,
This
right?
one.
Good job.
This one's still moving a little bit. Huh? Should we tighten it?
Yeah, just tighten it, or we could even. There we go, right there.
we go.
Leave it just like that.
Perfect. Okay.
So if we didn't do this, you're going to get it to float, okay? And we don't want it to float. All right, good.
Those high spots are exactly where they should be.
Yeah, exactly. We found our low points. We knew we didn't want to take off too much meat. That'll fill in. We're ready. All right, so we're gonna mix our casting epoxy. The super cast is designed to be a 2-to-1 ratio, and the super cast is a little bit different than our original casting epoxy. The super cast needs to be thick. If you pour a thin coat, it's going to cure. It just takes an awful long time. If you pour too much mass at a time and you have high humidity, you could generate heat. If you add water or moisture to the mix, it's going to accelerate that cooking factor, so you don't want to do that. If you're high humidity or too big of mass, you got to be careful. And so what we're going to do is we're going to mix up quite a bit, and we're going to add a color that you chose, right?
No, we did.
I'm going to give the credit to you, man.
Yeah.
Tropical turquoise, right? So you saw
Nice.
a piece that we did where we added the rainforest green,
Yep.
and we kept it very translucent.
So
And
pretty.
you saw the just ever such beautiful effects, but you could see right through it. We don't want to get rid of these pins. I mean, this burl
No.
is, I don't know,
So
Mitch, can
beautiful.
is it showing, is
It's
it showing,
so
Luke,
pretty.
you got to get a close up of this burl, because all
there
of
we go,
these pins that are coming through, I can't believe how beautiful. I mean, it's just such a unique piece.
Took months to find the exact right one.
So we wouldn't want to cover that with an opaque mix, right?
That's
We,
so
we
cool.
really want to showcase it. You
It's
ready
like
for this?
It's like the coolest canyon I've ever seen, right? Like it's
Yeah.
so amazing.
It reminds me of
It reminds
fantasy.
it.
Like,
No,
it's
it reminds me of our trip to when we went to Grand Canyon.
Oh,
That's what it reminds
there you
me
go,
of a
Grand
lot.
Canyon.
There you are, my friend.
And you want to go tropical turquoise. We're gonna just make it very translucent. We have a very scientific way to measure that, and that's with a plastic spoon.
Super scientific.
Yes. Let's get a big barrel there,
Here you are.
and let's mix this up. I don't think
taking
this
one
is
at a time?
classified as a barrel, though.
I don't know. It's a bucket for
Yeah.
sure.
All right.
Let the folks weigh in.
Barrel or
Don't
bucket?
tell us
Let
what
us
it's
know.
called.
Let us know. in the
Guys,
comments
if
below.
you haven't hit the like button, don't be shy. We appreciate that. It helps us get higher in the queue. And if we haven't earned your subscription, let us know if you find value in these tutorials. Let us know if this is what you're looking for, and if it isn't, let us know what you are looking for. We're always searching for the right content to show to our audience that wants to learn how to use our epoxy products in fun, interesting ways, right?
Yep.
Right.
All right, and you watch our videos. Are you learning anything?
Every day.
Right on, man.
I got my Bing Bong on the iPhone last night when the last one went live.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Hey, Mike, I got a good question for you here while you're mixing. Good View Woodworks is asking, is the epoxy enough to keep the table together without any bar reinforcements?
Great question, man. This is Nathan from Good View Woodworks. We did a podcast together. He's out in Virginia. Him and his wife, amazing people. Go watch that podcast. His story. Nathan, you inspire me, man. But to answer your questions, you would want bars across this, okay? But you're a welder. You want to talk about your plan for how we're going to keep this thing stable, even though we're epoxying the river.
Also, kind words, but to clarify, when I was a young man, I wanted to be a good welder.
Okay, gotcha.
You don't always get to be what you want to be.
Right?
So yeah, we will be welding up an industrial base for this out of steel. It's a bistro height table, same thing with the chairs.
Nice.
If you know my wife, it's a surprise for Christmas, so don't say anything. So part of that base is going to include a structural support that actually Mike helped design so that it ends up supporting it without showing anything underneath. So typically on one of Mike's tables, what you'd see is we would have flipped this over this morning, routed out the room, and actually epoxied these bars in.
Right.
But since we're going so clear with this one,
Yeah.
Mike said, hey dude, way better idea. Since you're going to build that base anyway, why don't we put the supports here, and here? Nobody's going to see it.
You know what I like is
A lot of good ideas today.
we brought this tight. We have a tight point right here in the river. You're going to hide, because you're building your own base, you're going to hide a bar right there.
Smart.
On the two ends. We're going to go lengthwise. It's going to be structurally sound, solid as a rock, translucent, magic show, everything in between.
Da, 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 da.
All right,
Right.
Sulu's Creation here is asking, Mike, is the burl edge treated with anything? And yes, prior to
question.
that, Mike,
Can you hold that
Oh.
thought real quick, Mitch?
Sure.
So we'll start mixing so we can
You
answer
got
this
it.
thing. But I wanted to show, we're going, if you want to go overhead, we're going very little with the metallic, okay? I'm literally going to start very little because we could always add more, right? So I'm going to start there, and we're going to mix that in. I don't try to tap it in from my bag because inevitably you're going to have a mistake, right?
Right.
avalanche.
Yes.
You keep
And
gravity
that-
on the team.
The amount that
So
was
you
in
want
it-
to start? You want to
Yes.
start mixing that? I'll get the next one going.
So I'll get back to that question.
Thanks,
So
Mitch.
she's
Sorry about
asking
that,
about what the edges of the burl were treated with, and what Mike and Brandon did before the show here today is they treated the edge with quick coat. They mixed up a little bit and brushed it on there, and what that's going to do is keep the air from the edges of that river slab table there from getting into that epoxy river that they're just about to pour.
And great question, and good questions. Bars and sealing the edges. If you don't seal the edges, you're going to get clusters of bubbles depending on how porous that material is. Second part of that question, you really should have multiple seal coats on a raw wood project because you just want to guarantee there's no air coming out of that edge. We only had time for one, but it's dry. It's still slightly tacky, which is why we don't have to sand it, and it's going to bond really well.
And we shouldn't have to fight the air.
All right,
I hope
Joe Merritt. Joe Merritt's in the house.
Nice. Hi, Joe.
Here, wait, this one's for Joe right here. America. Oh, I just
America.
got epoxy
You got
on my
epoxy
lip.
on your lip.
For America. Joe's a veteran.
Right.
Joe, thank you, man. Love you. If you guys haven't seen the video, Joe did it's splashing, man. We're fireworks.
It's
Also-
Fireworks for
It's because
Joe.
you're not paying
Joe's got
attention to
plane
yourself.
tickets for you guys to come down, do a river table with him.
Joe, man, his video on the slab jig.
I love
So
it.
you're an engineer. You work on CNC. Wow.
This
That's
is
a
going to
good
be
color,
the
right?
exact
Do you
blue
like the
lagoon that
color?
we were talking about.
Do you like the color?
I do.
You see how far that metallic goes?
We should go overhead.
Isn't that gorgeous? You didn't think I put enough?
No.
So watch
Tilted
out
up
whipping
the
it.
blue.
You'll whip it out.
Can you tilt it to 2 over there? There we go. Just right. Da, 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 da.
Oh, it's showing up too.
Cool. Yeah,
Okay, there we go.
So another pro tip on this is we didn't get the exact amount of metallic in each bucket, but because we're going to pour both of these, they're going to integrate. We're going to paint stick action it, and you don't have to pour all of that bucket in here. You can mix them, and then you know you're going to get your mix. You guys are both mixing. What am I going to do?
You're going to get ready to pour.
You can tag in.
Goodness gracious. I'm
His
going to
arm's
tag in.
probably getting tired.
I'm going to tag
I
in.
know what you could do, Mike. You can answer this question.
All right, I will.
All right. Joshua asks, does the slab have to be dry, or can you use a wet slab with epoxy?
Ooh, you want to answer that one?
So is 16% is the number that?
13. Remember Friday the 13th.
Yes.
Friday the
Yeah, it would be
13th.
horrible.
If it's
It
not-
would be a horror show if you got
I like
honey
that.
all up in here. Sorry.
13% or less.
Yeah,
is where you want to
you
be.
know, actually our epoxy has a lot of moisture tolerance compared to some. 13% still rather high for wood. Again, moisture could have adverse effects, especially if your edges aren't sealed. We had an instance where the epoxy heated up due to moisture from talking with our chemist. He said too much moisture is going to prematurely heat the mass, and the bigger the mass, the bigger the potential. And so if you're worried about how thick you're going to go, err on the side of less. Know that it'll take. Oh, sorry, yeah, I should.
No, I'll take
Know that it'll take a little longer to dry if you're thinner, but it'll still dry. So we've had a lot of requests for super cast to be able to go thick, but we've also had a lot of requests for people who are doing half-inch pours or things that aren't quite as thick. So we are going to be offering our original casting epoxy for those of you who have fallen in love with that mixture. It was really an unintended consequence. We thought that this would kind of handle all needs, but people want that mixture back, so we're gonna
popular demand.
back by popular demand.
By
yeah.
popular demand, because you told us you want it back. We'll bring it back.
So we really listen to the feedback. We read the comments. We appreciate what you guys give us as far as helping our business offer you what you're looking for. So you want to take back over?
Yeah.
So you can't really, you don't want to leave this in the buckets a long time, but we have a lot of working time because this is a very slow cure product. So we're going to go ahead and make sure it's mixed. I like to mix it for about 10 minutes, so we got time for some more questions.
So maybe for folks who haven't seen some of the other videos yet,
Oh yeah.
why we're mixing it by hand as
Oh,
opposed to...
man, you guys are full of great questions, man.
Or
Well, why are we? Why are we not using the drill?
Well, we don't want to aerate this one.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the simple answer that I know.
Exactly, because we're going to pour thick. How do you get in there with the reason our torch works so good, because we have long working time, but it's only 1/8 of an inch at the most thick on our normal countertops, so you can get the air right out. The problem with whipping a bunch of air when we're going to go deep is you got a lot of air trying to get out. So we'll pour it, we'll torch it about every 1/4 inch, pour more, torch it, and go up from there. And so we're going to pour this amount, kind of step back, see if we want to go further. We might break this up into 2 pours. We're going to play that by ear.
All right, the Outdoor Texan. I'm a welder and I have a little experience with wood. How does one find out the dryness of wood? So you can do that with a moisture meter that you can pick up at a hardware store, Harbor Freight, online, Amazon. Kind of a rudimentary way. Tape some plastic over that. If you have moisture in that, in between the wood and the plastic after 24 hours, it's way too wet. But really, if you're going to do this and you want to ensure that that bad boy's dry, moisture meter, you could pick that up online or at a hardware store. And oh, by the way, as you guys were mixing and started describing that, I had about 3 or 4 people ask, why are they doing this by hand? So
Yes.
thanks, guys.
Yeah, and the viscosity of this product is very thin, and that's for a reason. It's so the air can come out. It's because we want it easy to mix by hand, and it just has been a better product when it's not so thick for this particular application. Another thing that I wanted to mention is if you guys didn't see the video that we put out last night, we did a table project out of redwood. We did it in collaboration with Artist Till Death, with Paul's Toolbox. We went to the redwoods, we got a piece, we show start to finish. You saw that video last night. What'd you think?
I thought it was outstanding. Specifically, and I love the educational content.
Okay.
I love watching it. Every time it clears up for me, adds clarity to what I thought I knew. But I think the most entertaining part was watching like the outtakes.
Nice.
Y'all
Nice.
partying in the redwoods.
Yes, and that's, I guess that's the best way to describe it. Mitch and I, we went to New York to do that big video, And I remember almost this claustrophobic feeling of these buildings, yet you go in the redwoods, and that's just the same claustrophobic, but it's like, oh, I'm home, I'm home, you know. So to each their own, and that's my home. I love going out there. All right, I think we're ready, guys.
Okie dokie.
Let's do this, man. Are you guys ready?
You can
Brandon,
start that with that one, and then I'll just.
Let's have you pour this in.
Do you want the torch?
And we'll pour about, you know, this is gonna not go that deep because it's just this amount. So let's go ahead and pour that in, and then go nice and slow with it. Kind of let it work its way, and then we'll torch it as needed. I like that color.
Oh wow, that's so pretty. Wow.
Look at that color, brother. This is gonna be beautiful.
Isn't it?
It's so pretty.
You see the dimension in that metallic you were talking about?
All right, stop there, let it go, and then we'll torch out any of these bubbles, and then we'll keep going.
Where are you going?
I'm gonna pick out this. Put that in the bottom
Before it floats.
Yeah. Got it. Thank you, sir.
My pleasure.
Oh yeah, look at this. Oh, I'm happy with that color. Okay, guys, this is where you find out how well you did on your form. If it starts leaking, you're in. We probably should have mixed one kit, poured it in, and worst case scenario, you lose whatever it is you poured. We had some faith.
Our game is pretty tight here.
I don't know, man. We're all in.
Good batch, man.
Yes.
You know, one of the things you did
Cat and kept it
in the other video, Mike, was that you used the quick coat to put it down on the ground. Do you want to talk about that? The difference?
Huh?
In the other video, you used
All
the
right, you
quick
want to
coat.
pour that in over here, brother? Oh yeah, I talked about that.
You didn't talk about it, did you?
Yeah, in the beginning I talked about that. Normally we do that. Normally we hold it down with the quick coat, but since we waxed it,
Oh. Maybe reiterate that, because I missed it.
yeah, we're not holding it down with anything other than the bars because we waxed the bottom, so quick coat won't bond to that and hold it all.
We're
Sorry,
testing
guys.
easy removal.
I missed it.
You could say it out loud. What is it?
Oh, it's hard to hear you guys. Speak up a little bit more. Just a little bit.
Quiet tonight.
Are you guys having a hard time hearing us on the mics? Let us know. If everybody else can hear us, it maybe somebody needs to turn up their volume. I'm not sure. Let us know, guys. Can you hear us okay? Is it different than it normally is? Okay, let's torch it again.
Wow.
See how well that levels out when you torch it?
Amazing.
So pretty. You see that iridescence in there? That's so pretty.
Is it leaking?
Nope.
Okay.
That was from.
When you were wiping, I was like, oh.
No, that was from when we were pulling the. When you pulled that thumb out. I wanted to get that out so we had a clean slate to see. After we pulled the debris and wiped it.
Right.
Is there anything dripping?
We're good?
And the answer
Okay.
is no.
All right.
We should give a shout out to Allie and to Jessica for
Allie
staying
and Jessica,
tonight. Thank you,
stand-
girls.
Go ahead. Let's pour that in.
All right, are we ready?
Let him
Oh,
finish
yes,
there.
Sorry, I didn't realize that.
I love the color choice. I know you're happy with it, man.
You better believe it.
Oh, that is just fantastic.
Thank you for advising on that, by the way.
Oh man, I love keeping it really. I like adding some color.
This is such a pretty color.
It is.
Of the wood, so the slab is just going to create such a beautiful.
What do you
accent
think,
with this
Mitch?
Color.
I'm having a hard time getting the metallic on the camera.
So what we'll do, that's why Luke, come back here real quick, man.
With your camera, you're good.
So
Just
Luke
keep it
is
on.
working really hard, getting some really up-close shots because we're going to turn this video into a long-term video that you guys can see real good close-ups. So Mitch, if you want to go to A-roll, we'll show Luke. Luke has got the camera just up there going after it. Everybody give Luke a big... Luke, do you not have a Stone Coast shirt yet?
He hasn't earned it
No,
quite yet.
not yet.
Oh, he hasn't earned
After
it?
today, he'll have gotten his
Catherine
stuff.
just said you didn't earn it.
That's
Oh,
true.
that's
Uh-oh.
good.
That is mean.
I make my
She's
team
mean.
earn their shirt. And Luke
You've earned it to me.
is earning it.
That video he
Yes,
worked on
Eversley
that
is
was
left
posted
to
last night, he earned it there. He did a great job on that one.
Yes, he did.
Yes.
Actually.
Yeah, Luke edited a lot of the film that you guys, the video that you guys saw yesterday. All right,
Brian's
Catherine, you're up.
All right. Do you want me to hand it
Look
over to
at how
Brandon?
that's laying out. I think Brandon wouldn't care if you poured some.
I hope that you do.
Brandon's a sharer and a carer. If you guys care, then share this video.
Actually, you know what? Because it's for your wife, I think you should be the one that did.
Don't
the
drop
whole
that, guys.
project. Is that cool?
That's cool.
If
All
you
right.
drop that, we're never getting these samples off the ground.
Because I'm. Oh my heck!
That is a big bucket of it.
So pour it nice and slow so we don't end up with too much on this end. Is that the program?
Well, it'll level either
It's
way,
gonna.
but yeah,
it's pushing
I would.
it down now. See how the metallics are.
I would
starting to
stop and
swallow?
let me torch it now.
it
It doesn't.
started stacking up on the last pour.
Pretty neat.
Yeah, stop there. I'm gonna torch that end. Why don't you go pour some at that end? And that way, if the buckets are different, it'll integrate equally. I love this.
Oh my goodness. Can Mitch, if you go to B, you could probably catch the iridescence here with a light. Can you see it? Oh. Let me take that.
We'll take some pictures. We'll put them up on the Insiders group. Any other questions, Mitch, that are standing out there?
Pedro is asking how strong will the bond be? So the bond on this will be very strong, but like we said earlier, normally we have steel support bars in there holding those two slabs together. Brandon in this case is going to have a table welded up that does the support there that holds this unit together for everyday use and abuse.
That's a great reference for that bond question. Remember when y'all made that table up front? It looks like a bowling alley?
Yes.
And you had an end cut and you were
Joe,
showing?
give me
It
a call,
actually
buddy. I'd
broke
love to talk to you
a piece
about
of
that
walnut
supercast.
Instead of
Yes.
the epoxy bond.
Yes.
Put a short video clip to that maybe. How strong is it? Real
Right,
strong.
that's a good point. Somebody asked how strong is the bond. We took a piece of walnut cut off that we did. It had been epoxied. We went to break the walnut at the seam. It wouldn't break where the epoxy is. It broke elsewhere in the black walnut, which isn't really a soft wood. Not very soft. It's concrete-esque.
Yep.
All right.
That 5 acres of black walnut you plant today, your children's grandchildren will
Yes.
be able to harvest it.
Right.
Good job on this form, man.
Sorry, my face.
Beautiful. This is really, the last thing you want is to worry about the quality of how well you formed everything out at this point.
Right.
All right, Ron is asking, how do you calculate the amount of epoxy for the river? So you need to have your table form built and in place. Then you get an average measurement, width, depth, and length of that river. You can give us a call and we can tell you how much epoxy you need, or Google a volume calculator that gives you the answer in gallons, and you'll be good to go, or fluid ounces.
So you know what we did today, Mitch, is we tested our customer service, and we measured length, width, depth.
Yeah.
I called and pretended I was somebody else from Brandon's phone, and Patrick answered,
Awesome.
and I was like, "Can you tell me how much to use?" And he did amazing. I was testing them. Did they not pass with flying colors, man?
After he aced the test, he said, "Also, Mike, I know that's you."
Yeah, like he did. Yeah, he knew it was. But I even tried to change my voice, and I can change my voice.
He knows you all
Yeah,
time.
he knew. He did this really funny. He's like, and then he's like, wait, is this really him? Like you could tell he was second guessing it. It was awesome. So Patrick, if you're watching, man, you got this. You got this. All right, buddy.
Lana asks, which is a very good question, is there any type of wood that shouldn't be used for river tables? So most slab wood, as long as it's dry, you could use epoxy with it. If you're going to be using like pallet wood, a lot of people like to play with pallets, stuff like that, which the epoxy works great with it. Just make sure there wasn't petroleum products, oils sitting on that pallet that may have contaminated that.
Beautiful.
So pretty. You can see that in 3 dimensions, that iridescence.
Yes,
Right. It's really pretty.
It's just gorgeous, man. So we wanted to know if people are interested in that table that we made yesterday. We're thinking about doing an LED kit that will light it up. But one of my pet peeves about lighting the table is I don't want to see evidence of the strip of LED. I want to hide that. So we have some ideas. Are you guys interested in learning how to do an LED hidden light kit in the Stone Coat Countertop form and fashion? So let us know if you'd like to see that.
All right, I got a good question here, Mike. Nilo is asking, can your resin be poured on vertical pedestals? So we do have a vertical epoxy kit for sale on our website, stonecoatcountertops.com. It's a thickening additive you put into our normal Stone Coat Countertop epoxy, and it can be applied vertically.
That makes me have to pee. I'm sorry, it does.
I'm sorry, guys.
I'm sorry.
Wait, take 2.
Yeah.
Oh wait.
We'll edit that out.
We'll edit it out.
Yes.
It's live. We're
All right.
sorry,
People
guys.
are very excited about the LED kit.
Okay. Well, I am too. I've had this kit sitting in my office for a long time, and just didn't know if that's something people really want to learn or not, because we have so many things and ideas that we want to do. So I think we'll make that a priority, guys.
Cool.
Cool.
All right, let's mix up a little bit more. Fill up this last part, and you want to torch those bubbles out there?
Shoot one.
You really don't want to mess up your math on camera.
Right.
2 to 1. 2 to 1.
You never want to mess up your math, but
Right.
especially live.
Okay. I need part B. There we go. Sweet. And then we're going to have to...
So what I'm doing, which I know some of you are probably going, what is she doing? There's a little piece of sawdust that's in the middle of just the epoxy, and I wanted to get it out. So take a minute, look over your piece, make sure that there's nothing, no, I don't call it trash, but any type of stuff in the epoxy that you don't want it there.
How much do you love seeing the pins and the detail of that burl?
It's like you're in my mind. Seriously, I will never charge you rent, dude. It's just I love that you're in there. But that's exactly what I was thinking about. This is such a unique piece of wood.
It's beautiful.
There's just no way to put any kind of opaque epoxy in there
Right.
and cover up all that.
So pretty.
I'm going to take out some of this metallic that I put in, just because I can add more, right? I can add more. I don't want to overdo and lose that. Go ahead, brother. Let's take that off the piece. That way, if we spill any, it's not unmixed material that spills in there.
Good call. The bonus of having done it more than one time.
Da-da-da.
Yes.
Right? Experience. Yeah. There's little pieces sitting right here.
No.
Is there more debris in there?
It's okay. Like, what we do too is we're going to overfill this, and then this material will shrink slightly, and when it shrinks, that's okay. We're going to get everything sanded flush, and then we're going to do our normal Stone Coat Countertop epoxy. But what we're basically doing is getting this back to raw wood state. If you're just doing a slab of raw wood, you would start with our normal Stone Coat Countertop product. You would do 3 seal coats with the normal squeegee, which is right here. You would do those seal coats. The reason you do that is if I pour a flood coat over something this porous, you're going to get never-ending bubbles. So the seal coats will seal this, just like we did those edges. You see any bubbles coming out of that edge?
Not yet.
It's beautiful, man. You would probably see it already if it was going to happen. You would see it, just a bubble come up, you torch it, another one would follow it.
Hit me, brother man.
Oh, take it?
Keep going.
No, with a little bit more.
Oh, a little bit more.
You want a little more?
Just a little more.
Here, wait, here's
Okay.
It has residual on it.
Beauty.
Yeah. I don't think you
When you said hit me, I was like,
Yeah.
I don't know if that's a good idea.
We're boxing epoxy.
You were boxing it up. Professional boxers.
There we are.
Thank you, Kathy.
I've heard that line somewhere before.
Any other questions? Yeah.
Blur by 84. Will an epoxy table hold up outside?
You know, we get this question a lot, and I've built tables for a lot of years. We've shipped our tables all over the country, and this is what I tell my client. I wouldn't recommend going outside unless, number one, it's going to be covered, and you're only going to uncover it when you want to use this really nice table that you made for events and things like that. That's a great idea. If you don't care that it's going to fade and get scratched and change color and amber, because we do have a very UV resistant product, but epoxy by nature is going to amber over time. So outside, if you educate your customer on that, or you're building this for yourself and you just want a cool surface outside, it works. You can sand and polish it, or you could do another coat down the road. That's awesome. But knowing what it's going to look like down the road, it's not going to stay this perfect. You're going to beat it up, and it's like a yacht. You could spend a lot of money on a yacht's coating, and in a few years you're going to see it's not a brand new coating. And you know, that's just how I don't do a lot of stuff for outside for that purpose. Some companies are going to tell you, yeah, go ahead and do it outside. You can, but I wouldn't do white. If you're going to put white in this, it's going to yellow outside, and you're going to see that. This color, the wood already looks yellow. It's not going to jump out at you that the epoxy's ambered. We do have hindered aiming light stabilizers. We have UV inhibitors. We have UV protection, and it's a urethane-based product, so it is more UV and scratch resistant than other formulated epoxy. But that being said, it's still going to change outside. So I hope that answers your question. We do have a lot of customers that use it outside, and they're really happy, but we don't want to mislead you to what you're going to expect as results for an outside table.
Should we put a little more in there?
I wouldn't.
No?
No, it'll blend in, and then you're not going to make it, because you're getting that cool, clear effect. Why fix it if it ain't broke?
Is this as dark? Is this maybe just not as dark as the other one because it's not as thick?
It's not as thick, exactly. One of my favorite things to do is to see how wood changes when you apply epoxy to it. It's ultimate. I mean, what I did before, we had a client that really wanted a blonde look. They were a maple table. If you apply epoxy to maple, it's going to darken it up. Well, what we did is we first sealed it with conversion varnish so that the epoxy couldn't get in and really darken the table. And I was so disappointed because I lost that magical effect. I lost that glow, and I'm like, well, it did the trick. It definitely kept it that same color that the conversion varnish left it, but it didn't enrich it. You know, it was just.
This is even rough, and it still looks like a
It looks awesome.
10,000 grit polish on it.
It looks awesome, man. So that's just like, it's like opening a Christmas present for me, man. It's putting epoxy on wood. What do you think, Luke?
Yep.
You like it, man?
Yeah. It's so satisfying to watch as it just gets poured on and wiped over.
Wow. I think we're good. Let's do it.
Ready to go?
Yeah, that was exactly 8 minutes and 13 seconds.
Okay.
Wow, look at that.
Sulu is asking, what is the curing time on this piece before you'd remove the mold?
Oh, good question. It's going to vary depending on how thick you pour. So because we're going fairly thick with this, it's definitely going to be cured tomorrow. We're at 75 degrees, very low humidity in this pour room. So we know it's going to be ready to demold tomorrow. If it was still soft, if it's still gummy, let it set up. Don't be in a hurry. When you rush your epoxy project, that's when you run into problems. So don't be in a rush. Let it do its thing. And when it's hard, you can demold it and it's not going to flex and move on you.
That's great.
All right, let's torch that and start.
Really cool. Like Mitch is able to get how it's moving through.
That is so pretty. This color is a home run, man.
You better believe it, man.
You know what's crazy is I could tell a substantial difference with how much air is in this batch because it was just a smaller batch. So we're getting more air whipped in, you know. It'll still come out, but it's just interesting to see that.
Wow.
All right, let me torch that out. We'll let it rest for a second, then we'll put the rest of that in. Your wife gonna like it?
She's gonna love it. As Luca would say, no, I don't like it. I love it. Ooh.
What's up?
We lost some over there.
Somewhat. Oh yeah,
Epoxy.
yeah. It's probably
Working its way in.
yeah. It's probably gone underneath, and it's gonna equalize with this.
Mm-hmm.
See how it's the same distance down as what this is?
We got the high spot on the. Yep.
Uh-huh.
All right.
I wouldn't even. I would focus on this, Brandon, because it'll equalize, and then you don't spill it on.
Jimmy Hunt asks, can you use pebbles in the bottom for river rock effect? And definitely, you totally can. We've seen customers do that, and they turn out amazing. You want to pay attention to the torching because that can hide air bubbles and stuff like that and all those voids. So just be patient with that, torch it out, and man, it turns out great.
Yeah, Mitch, did you tell them to pre-seal those rocks? So if you're going to use river rocks, you're going to do it in a couple of steps. You're going to pour down a little bit of epoxy, embed those river rocks, saturate them with epoxy, because if you put them in and then pour the river over them, those rocks contain air and they're going to bubble on you. You get little, like a halo of bubbles that's stuck around the crowns of those rocks. So that's why you want to pre-seal the rocks, stop the air from leaching, and then you can pour your river as needed. And that goes for basically any organic matter, right?
Look how tight that wax is sealed. There's nothing along the edge here. That's
Yeah,
working.
Wow.
How about that?
Wow. No kidding.
That's noteworthy, right?
That is. Yes, sir. Oh, cool. Thank you. You want to, here, come talk about that.
All right. All right. So we had, oh, let me get over there. We've been doing this for a long time, and I always forget about the mics, and so I just start talking, and yeah, sorry. So one of the things that you guys were asking about were different classes that are being held, different opportunities to come and play with us and do different things with us, and we have a really special event coming up. It's in April, and we are doing something really unique it's called the Artisan Summit. And so we would like to invite you guys, it's to teach people and empower them in order to create their own businesses, figure out how this can work for them. So making your passion into something that you can truly take home and make into cash. And I think that that's really exciting. A lot of artists are afraid of making money for what they love to do, and I don't understand that at all. I would definitely rather do something that I love and create enough way for us to have our family fed. So do you want to tell them a little bit more about that?
Yeah, the Artisan Summit is going to be a 2-day event, jam-packed full of folks who have been on TV. They have their own YouTube channel. They've done something special. They've unlocked a secret that has been specifically chosen to teach us about, because everybody has their own avenue, their own side hustle, their own expertise that when combined makes you super, right? Because you're learning from people who have something that you really want to learn, and that's what this is about. Is each one teach one. It's really unlocking those secrets that may help you in whatever it is that you're an expert at. Maybe it is river tables, maybe it's resin art, maybe it's woodworking, maybe it's table bases, maybe it's CNC routering. Whatever it is that you love, there's a way to use 2018, 2019, the marketing tips, tools, and tricks. Word of mouth, just what has happened for folks that have done what it is you want to do. And we've made this event literally as inexpensive as possible. If you go on artisansummit.com, hopefully you're shocked at the price, because we literally are not trying to make a profit on this. We're trying to bring a lot of high energy people into one room and unlock a bunch of secrets. Like, it's kind of what you and I do. Brandon and I, behind the scenes, like, this is what we do, right?
Yep.
We just have fun together. We throw ideas out there. You helped us invent a part to our slab jig that's coming soon that you're gonna love. I'm not gonna let it out yet. But what you've done, and you did it like overnight. Your brain works that way. So guys, this summit is the first annual that's gonna be built out, and we plan on doing this long term, right? So we have some great speakers. I don't want to go and feel like I'm trying to sell you on it. If you miss it because you don't think the value's there, just like all of our videos, we really hope you find value in these. And yeah,
and
go
you
ahead.
have a really good, so if you're interested in it, if you're wanting to get more information, who's going to be there, what are they talking about, why should I go? Mike put together a really interesting section of our website for that. So go down, check out the Artisan Summit. We made it in the most inexpensive place, the destination of Las Vegas. It was intentional.
As long as they don't gamble, right?
Don't gamble. Just
don't
come
go-
and learn so you
Yes.
can get some money when you're done.
Yes.
So, well, I mean, you can do whatever you want, but you know,
Affordable
Rhonda's getting us at
flights.
stay.
That's the whole key.
It was affordable to.
Yes.
We worked with our with the location that we're having, the resort that we're having
Westgate,
that out.
yep.
Yeah, and we made it really reasonably priced. We have special pricing for the rooms for the right first people. Do not do that.
I was gonna joke.
I'm in the middle of talking. You're making me have anxiety. I like my hair. You guys don't have that
True.
problem. You're covered and you don't have any. So
True.
it's like, be careful. I was a little concerned. Sorry, honey. Okay, had anxiety attack there.
All right, we're gonna let this set up. We're gonna come back. We'll sand this thing flush. We'll start the seal coats. We're gonna get this. We gotta get this ready for Christmas, right?
That's right.
I mean, there's no other option. So guys, cross your fingers.
Execute.
Send us good vibes, because we need to get this ready for your wife for Christmas.
Oh, it's happening.
All right.
It's done.
Mitch, anything to say before
Our
we
part's
sign out?
over.
Definitely, guys. If we, excuse me, if we didn't get to your questions today, give us a call tomorrow, 541-450-1976, or shoot us an email at stonecoatcountertops@gmail.com. Thanks for joining us tonight. We really appreciate you being here and sharing all your helpful tips and tricks on Stone Coat Countertops Insiders.
Hey guys, it's no longer 5. We were live. It's Tuesday. We hope you found value. Subscribe, hit the like button, and from Stone Coat Countertops, call anytime for free project support. And until next time,
You got this.
You ready?
Yeah.
Until next time, you
got this.
We'll see you.
On the next video.
Thanks, guys.
That was so.